Well, it's no secret that American farmers are hurting right now, and with agriculture being Arkansas's number one industry, that is certainly hitting so close to home. Here to talk about that crisis and what it looks like moving forward is Arkansas State Senator Blake Johnson. Hi, Senator.
Good morning, Jenny. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for just for taking time to talk with me this morning. I know that you have a lot going on, so I won't keep you too long. But you and I both know this conversation, just the farming crisis, is at the forefront of so many people's minds right now, especially where you are over there in Northeast Arkansas. A few weeks ago, there was a town hall in Brookland with hundreds of farmers there. First, just tell us what that town hall was like and what your takeaway was.
It was they had the representatives. That was the day that the senators and representatives had to go back to DC, and but they had their representatives there, and it was a much needed conversation, and I think they were surprised at the numbers of people that came because everybody got off a combine or stopped what they were doing that morning to come and participate in that. And I think it was important to show the face and the voice and of the agriculture industry and especially in row crop farming. I think the only the only thing in agriculture that's doing well is cattle right now. Uh, Possibly some of the animal agriculture. I know there's some problems with the chicken production and avian flu and stuff like that in this past winter, but this is primarily row crop agriculture across the United States. It's not just in our region, but
Yeah.
our region is got a high production cost because we have to water and the diesel use and
Yeah.
I mean it's we can't year after year like in Midwest grow corn on the same beds. We have to work either burn or work the rice stubble in and rotate, and our cost of production is high in our area. So if something's not done, it'll be the Delta area will be impacted greatly uh, in production. And what'll happen is there's not enough equity, and there's not enough equity left out here, and people with money to pick up the ground that is lost in production
Yeah.
until something gets better.
I think you explained the crisis, pretty well. And for our viewers who are not that familiar with ag and the farming industry here, but I hear people say, well, it was the last administration, or it's this or that. In your opinion, when did this crisis really begin?
It's been some time, but the inflation over the last 4 years, and you hear all on the news nowadays is about Trump's tariffs, inflation. No, it was 4 years of inflation due to overspending, and that has helped bring us to this point because I mean the cost of all of our equipment, uh, everything has went up by CPI, and we have no adjustment index to that. And if and until they do the big beautiful bill updated the reference prices and stuff, which hadn't been done in over 10 years. And
Mm.
so whenever those reference prices don't change, you don't get an update in any of your securities that help govern agriculture. I think they've helped that, but that's not until next year.
Yeah.
So
So you don't think tariffs have played a role in this at all? You think it's just
tariffs,
inflation?
I think tariffs have played a role, but it's like the last nail. It's not it's not what has caused it, but whenever in rice, I think part of the deal is the quality. We've always been known for our quality in rice, and there's some issues with quality in some of these hybrid rice, and that has hurt our markets.
Yeah.
Probably, as much as the tariffs, you got to have quality, or the buyers will buy anything.
Yeah, and the prices are still staying low, even though your output costs are so high. How will
Yeah.
this, in your opinion, affect banks, landowners, farmers? If there's not a drastic course correction, how do you think it'll affect those?
Everybody in rural America and rural in the Delta, small communities, uh, everybody that we touch, uh, whether it's our suppliers, chemical suppliers, uh, fertilizer suppliers, those guys, if we don't have the money to pay, and you can't, and some of the guys can't get, lended anymore, then those guys go
Yeah.
unpaid. The parts store at town, the the banks, the it's everybody that agriculture touches, and agriculture touches everybody in the rural Arkansas.
Yeah, it really does. What are you hearing from people in your region and in your district specifically? What kind of remedy are they looking for? What do they say? This is what needs to happen right now. You know, what do you think? What are you hearing?
Well, I think Secretary Rollins is headed to Europe, uh, probably today or this week, and hopefully Japan to do some of those agreements, and those will hopefully be reflected in the markets. What I asked the senator, Bozeman, was there's marketing assistance loans, which a lot of people think we get all the time, and back 20 years ago it was called the LDP. Loan deficiency payments if it was below loan price. Well, loan price right now is $3.15 on rice. Nobody can make money
Yeah,
on rice at that. Right now, like rice is at $4.50. You can't make money at $4.50. Last year, I sold rice for $7.75, and this year it's
wow.
$4.50. So, I mean, those loan prices, not updated. Uh, I asked them to waive the interest on those marketing assistance loans, because you're not making it at market price, and you're sure not making it at loan price. And if they could do that, we might could hold out until we get the agreements and the markets start adjusting in the
Yeah.
spring.
What about assistance just from the state side? What do you see there that might be necessary?
On the state side, we've got to use our resources to ensure that, since there's a glutton of product, that we're not taking advantage of in the market,
Yeah.
or a quality of rice. We got to, you know producers, if they don't feel like they're getting milling or getting treated right at those at those points, then the state has to play a role in ensuring that they're not being taken advantage of by those industry folks that have everybody to buy from and nobody to sell to.
Yeah. I want to switch gears just a little bit. You in the past legislative sessions, you had a good bill that dealt with the CCP and lobbying. In 2023, you had another bill, I believe, that banned ITAR countries from owning Arkansas farmland. Um, do you wish or do you think that that legislation should have included owning land at all, Arkansas land at all, such as like strip malls or multifamily units, things like that? Do you think that that law needs to go further now?
As long as they're legal citizens, none of that is affected.
Okay.
As long as they are become citizens, but I don't want our enemies to be enriched by our gratitude.
Yeah.
And I want I don't want to help our enemies. And those are all ITAR nations, which are national defense, critical. We don't
Right.
deal with them, and those folks, uh, are not our friends. We live in a global, what everybody calls a global society. Those folks don't. don't work on global.
Yeah.
They're going to take care of themselves, and then if everybody else is okay, that's fine. And United States and President Trump and I think our governor has the state of Arkansas and the United States in mind rather
Hmm.
than everybody else, and
Yeah.
that's what I appreciate about both of them. And we've got to take care of ourselves first, and then if God allows, we take care of others. But that's that's what
Yeah.
I think the president's doing, trying to ensure these with these trade agreements. And we got to have somebody, this he's in there for 4 years. We got to have somebody to come behind him and enforce these agreements, or we're going through this pain uh, without without
Yeah.
recourse.
Yeah. Who would you see coming behind him? Just,
Well, I mean, JD would. I think JD's there. I think Tom's got a place possibly.
yeah.
I mean, the governor, uh, is always a possibility. You'd have to talk to her about that. I'm not going to speak for her on that, but I
Yeah.
think we're in a good place. The state of Arkansas with the administration and hopefully whoever comes after.
Yeah, I've had people ask this question. Arkansas recently invested, I believe, $500 million in Israeli bonds, but yet we ban countries from kind of investing and doing the same. What's your position on investing in foreign countries while we, don't allow others to do that here?
Well, Israel, I think we're trade partners with Israel, and Israel can invest here, and we can invest there. Uh, we've limited the investment in those same areas where the our enemies, we're not going to help enrich our enemies,
Yeah.
and I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
If they want to be on a level playing field, then they can ensure our interest as well as their own.
Right. I want to, before I let you go, I want to just briefly talk about renewable energy and wind developments. This, of course, was, important during the most recent legislative session. I know that you've seen counties and quorum courts all over the state, try to figure out how to handle this. And so I just wanted to get your position on renewable energy like solar and wind. And do you see this at all targeting Arkansas farmland? What is your position?
I think those have their place. I don't think the government should be subsidizing them. Uh, Here's what I've always said: is all those renewable energies is kind of like it's kind of like a boat. Those are like a trolling motor, but our base load has to be handled by the big
Yeah.
Mercury or Johnson on the back of the boat to get you where you need to go. Those are just supplementary, and I don't think the government should be favoring those renewables. Uh, that's my opinion on it. Though they do have a footprint whenever they come into to usable good farm ground, which is not advantageous for the world. We need to be producing that what we can feed, not
Yeah.
not the trolling motor on the boat so you can catch some fish. The
Yeah.
That's the windmills don't have a big footprint, but in the Delta we use agricultural planes to crop dusters that have to deal with those things and fly between them. So that's a concern to me. I'm not a pilot, but I think that would be a concern, even though it's not a very big footprint. And
Yeah.
it takes more energy than those things will produce to create them. So that's my deal with the government getting involved. If you come up with a renewable that you get more out of than it takes to put in, then I'm good with it. But until that happens, I don't see it.
Yeah. I guess I also wonder, because we've seen in other states like Kansas, these big, wind turbines or abandoned turbines are popping up now. And it's how do you, how do you deal with that? And then kind of like the after effect of having that, brought in and then they're abandoned,
Well,
I don't,
in their fancy agreements, it says there's whenever they're done that way, they're supposed to tear them out. Well,
yeah,
I can't remember the depth of the root of those windmills, but our windmills in the area was supposed to be like 500 or 600 foot, a lot taller than what
yeah,
the normal one is. So I imagine that base of that thing has to be concreted really deep. But they were,
yeah, you can,
yeah, they're
yeah,
supposed to remove that, but all that takes is a bankruptcy, and that agreement isn't worth a paper it's written on.
Yeah. And then we have, our wonderful natural beauty and resources, what
Mhm.
some would say, destroyed from that. Just another question about this. And I know that you're saying that really the government shouldn't get involved, and I agree with that. But how can communities, ensure that this is even something that they want where they are rather than, developers or power community or power companies coming in and kind of getting it in there. How can community members, in your opinion, kind of hold the line and like, okay, yes, this is something that we want, or no, it's not.
I think that would be, quorum courts, and those are elected officials.
Yeah,
You have to voice that to those elected officials. There was legislation that did a lot of regulation on wind windmills and limited where they could be placed. But I think the counties can go narrower than we did.
yeah. One other question before I let you go, and this is a national conversation as well. These data centers. Some would argue that Arkansas is becoming such a hub for having these mega corporations come in with these data centers. And a lot of people say it's exploiting our resources. Why do you think that Arkansas is such a draw for these data centers? And what is your position on them?
Well, uh, as of yet, I think there's just been one announced in Arkansas. I think Tennessee took up the energy legislation. It was a lot. Uh, Mississippi and Tennessee, I think, have done similar to what we did in the session, but they don't have the restrictions and guardrails that we put in. I think those states are ahead of us in that. But the energy production and energy cost could be higher if we hadn't have done something because the old method is always available to them. I think that helps us and helps the consumers, with that issue. I don't know the data. I don't know how much data everybody needs. I don't
Yeah,
know. I, I don't know enough about the subject
yeah,
to be informative, but we have to be competitive with whatever industry that comes along for our citizens and for job creation in the state of Arkansas. So, and whenever you're interconnected like we are, they could build those energy infrastructures outside, and our citizens would have to help pay for them. If they
yeah.
built one in Tennessee or Louisiana, we would have to help pay for them. So I just assume them be in Arkansas to where we get the jobs from it.
Okay. Um, the last thing, we're in primary season, and there in your district, you have a primary opponent, Representative Jeremy Wooldridge. A lot of people are saying that this is the race to watch. You have endorsements from, I believe I saw Tom Cotton and then the governor all the way down. Um, Give us your thoughts on this race. How is it going? What do you want people to
It's
know?
it's not really a race until the paper's signed in November, but
True.
but uh, but he has announced his intentions to do so. and he is, you know, just like any citizen, you know, can do that. Uh, I've tried to, you know, I've worked with him, and would have enjoyed the partnership in the House to further our district, and but it's of his choosing. So we'll run the race, and the citizens will choose who they want to represent them. But I am the only row crop agriculture producer in the Arkansas legislature.
Hmm. Um, Anything else that you want to add before we let you go? I really appreciate you coming on talking about ag and farming with me. Anything else you'd
Well,
like to mention?
I appreciate you being flexible this morning. We had to move some equipment around, and you give me extra 30 minutes so I could get
Thought
where
that's
I
the least I could do.
and appreciate you having me on, and if I can ever help, or and you just let me know, Jenny.
Thank you, Senator. I really appreciate it. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too.